What if I told you that one of the most effective ways to restore leg strength, especially if you've been feeling slower, weaker, or more easily fatigued, doesn't come from the gym or a pill, but from your own kitchen? Recent research suggests exactly that. Studies now show that a single food, when consumed at the right time and in the right combination, can begin improving neuromuscular performance in as little as 12 hours. Let's start with a surprising finding from a 2023 study published in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition. By the very next morning, adults over the age of 50 who followed a specific nutrient-dense evening meal demonstrated measurable increases in muscle protein synthesis and mitochondrial activity. These mitochondria act as the body's energy generators, supporting recovery and strength, particularly in the legs, which are often the first muscles to weaken with age. This is not just about movement or appearance, it's about something much deeper: your independence, your confidence, and your long-term capability. When leg strength fades, everything changes. Climbing stairs becomes harder, balance weakens, energy levels fall. Many people assume this is simply aging. But here's the truth: the biggest driver of muscle loss is not age itself. It's long-term cellular undernourishment, persistent low-level inflammation, and disrupted circadian timing. In other words, it's not your chronological age, it's your biology. What you eat, when you eat it, and how those nutrients interact with your nervous system and muscles matters more than most people realize. In this episode, we're going to explore the neurophysiology behind one simple, widely available food that can dramatically enhance leg function when used strategically. You'll learn how its nutritional profile supports overnight neuromuscular repair, how it improves mitochondrial efficiency, the energy engines inside your muscle cells, how amino acid signaling helps restore muscle density, why your internal body clock plays a crucial role in determining when this strategy works best, and finally, a clear step-by-step method you can start using immediately. This is not a gimmick, it's backed by science. And with the right approach, your body can rebound faster than you might expect. Let's dive in. For decades, we believed muscle loss with aging was mainly caused by atrophy, the shrinking of muscle fibers due to inactivity or declining hormone levels. But modern neuroscience is revealing a different, far more hopeful picture. Here's what researchers now understand. You may think your muscle is gone, but in many cases, it's simply offline. Studies show that motor neurons, the nerve cells connecting your brain and spinal cord to your muscles, especially in the legs, begin to weaken or lose efficiency as early as the 40s. This disconnect reduces electrical signaling, meaning muscles don't receive a full contraction signal. They're still there, but they're underactivated. Research indicates that many adults with declining leg strength still possess the physical muscle capacity. A landmark study from the University of Calgary found the real issue was impaired neuromuscular communication. In simple terms, the muscle wasn't damaged, it just wasn't being properly activated, and that means it can be reactivated. Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt unexpectedly unstable, or noticed your legs tire faster even though your routine hasn't changed? That's not just aging, it's reduced neural signaling. The encouraging news is that this process can be supported nutritionally. The spinal cord plays a central role here. Beyond transmitting movement commands, it relies on consistent nutrient-based support to maintain signal clarity. Think of your leg muscles as skilled workers, and your nervous system as the supervisor communicating through a loudspeaker. If the speaker's battery is weak, performance suffers. But once that battery is recharged, the entire system comes back online. One of the fastest ways to achieve this is by supplying the neuromuscular junction, the precise site where nerves meet muscle fibers, with key nutrients that help restore efficient signaling. Within just a few hours, specific amino acids, B-complex vitamins, and precursors of acetylcholine can noticeably strengthen this connection. The food we are focusing on provides exactly these elements. You'll discover that it is not only a high-protein food, but also contains the specialized nutrients your nervous system requires to rebuild communication pathways. This means that when you eat this food, you are doing more than feeding muscle tissue. You are actively reawakening it. Before becoming concerned with adding new muscle mass, it's essential to ask whether your nervous system is effectively activating the muscle you already have. In cases of leg weakness, the clarity of neural signaling often matters more than total muscle size. In this section, we will take a closer look at the amino acid leucine, widely regarded as one of the most vital compounds for re-engaging this system, and how it functions as a molecular on-switch for strength. But before we continue, if this perspective is helping you see your body differently, consider subscribing. This channel exists to convert scientific insight into physical capability. After you finish eating, there is a short window when your body begins searching for instructions. These instructions are not just calories. They include molecular messages that tell your system what to do next. One of the strongest signals it looks for is the amino acid leucine. Leucine is classified as an essential amino acid, meaning your body cannot create it on its own. It must be supplied through food. But its role goes far beyond basic nutrition. In research settings, leucine is known as an anabolic signal. It tells your cells that it's time to build. Scientific findings show that leucine directly activates a cellular pathway known as mTOR, short for mammalian target of rapamycin. This pathway controls muscle protein production and acts like a central command center. You can imagine mTOR as the internal switch that turns on your body's ability to repair or build muscle tissue, with leucine being the trigger that activates it. Studies have demonstrated that even in older adults, a single meal rich in leucine can significantly boost mTOR activity and increase muscle protein synthesis. This was shown in research published in the Journal of Nutrition in 2011. This is especially important because aging muscles become less responsive to anabolic signals over time. Leucine, however, has been shown to counteract this resistance. It is one of the few nutrients capable of producing this effect within hours. Have you ever felt leg fatigue or weakness even after eating a protein-rich meal? The issue may not be total protein intake, but rather leucine content and timing. Many older adults consume just enough protein to slow muscle loss, yet not enough leucine to stimulate new growth. For this reason, both protein source and timing are critical. The strategy is simple. Make your first substantial meal of the day centered on a leucine-dense food. Some of the richest sources of leucine include animal proteins such as eggs, beef, poultry, and especially whey protein. Roughly 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine, found in about 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein, is enough to activate the mTOR pathway and begin muscle repair. For a faster and more efficient option, whey protein isolate remains one of the most effective choices. Leucine, along with the other essential amino acids, exists in this food in near-ideal ratios. When it comes to rapidly reactivating muscle performance, this is exactly why both athletes and healthcare professionals working with older adults are increasingly relying on it. But the benefit goes beyond simple recovery. It is also about re-establishing connection, because when you consume protein that is high in leucine, something deeper occurs within your brain and muscles beyond growth alone. The key factor is communication. A biological conversation between your nervous system and muscle fibers begins to restart through your involvement, and the faster that exchange resumes, the sooner your legs start to feel balanced, powerful, and responsive again. As we move forward, we now turn to the second critical piece of this equation: acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that directly instructs your muscles to contract, along with the specific food that replenishes it faster than most supplements available. If these insights have been useful so far, consider supporting the video with a like. This simple action helps us deliver science-based strength strategies to more people who truly need them, and it also signals to the algorithm that this information matters. Every time you decide to move, whether it's standing up, stepping forward, or rising from a chair, your brain sends out a command. That message, however, does not travel straight to your muscles. First, it is translated into acetylcholine, a chemical messenger. Acetylcholine is the neurotransmitter responsible for neuromuscular communication. This is the precise mechanism that converts intention in your brain into movement in your muscles. Without adequate levels, muscle activation becomes impaired. Signals weaken, timing is lost, or muscles fail to engage properly. This reality becomes increasingly important with age. Research shows that both acetylcholine production and receptor responsiveness slowly decline over time, especially within motor neurons connected to the legs. This helps explain why balance errors, slower reactions, and coordination issues become more frequent as people reach later years. Here is where the science becomes especially compelling. Studies demonstrate that choline, the nutritional precursor to acetylcholine, can rapidly restore signaling efficiency. A review published in Nutrients in 2012 highlighted that increasing dietary choline intake can enhance acetylcholine synthesis within as little as 6 to 12 hours, particularly when the brain is actively engaged in motor control demands. So, which food delivers this advantage? Eggs. More specifically, egg yolks represent one of the richest natural sources of choline available. Consuming just 2 whole eggs supplies over 300 milligrams of choline, which the body converts into acetylcholine, helping to reactivate the motor control pathway. This is not simply nutritional trivia. It is a practical protocol. If you experience shakiness, instability, reduced strength while walking or standing, or notice that your legs react more slowly than before, consider testing this simple morning habit. Eat 2 whole eggs roughly 30 minutes after you wake up, ideally paired with a leucine-rich protein such as whey or cottage cheese. Why is this important? Because acetylcholine production is naturally reduced after sleep. In the early morning hours, motor neurons are especially sensitive to nutritional input, precisely when acetylcholine availability is at its lowest and most needed. By doing this, you are supplying your body with the fundamental building blocks required to restore neuromuscular signaling. Have you ever noticed how much steadier and more confident your steps feel after a protein-dense breakfast? This is not a placebo effect. It reflects your central nervous system firing with improved precision. Choline does far more than support muscle alone. It strengthens the communication pathway between your brain and your legs, effectively upgrading that signal. If you follow a plant-based lifestyle or do not eat eggs, there is no need for concern. Alternative choline sources include quinoa, Brussels sprouts, and soybeans. That said, egg yolks offer the highest bioavailability, meaning your body can absorb and utilize the choline more efficiently. It is also important to understand that acetylcholine is not limited to muscle activation. It plays a vital role in memory, learning, and focus. When acetylcholine levels are restored in the brain, both physical coordination and mental clarity improve, creating a powerful dual benefit for healthy aging. In the next section, we will examine another critical link in this process: the connection between circulation and leg strength. We will also highlight a food that enhances blood flow so effectively that it is currently being studied as a natural option for vascular cognitive decline and performance-related fatigue. If you are committed to rebuilding strength and mental sharpness, tap the subscribe button. We are just getting started, and each segment builds upon the last, offering practical tools you can apply in daily life. Now imagine trying to grow a garden while the water hose is bent and restricted. No matter how rich the soil is or how much sunlight the plants receive, growth will be limited. The same principle applies inside your muscles, especially in your legs. As we age, the arteries and capillaries supplying the lower limbs often become narrower and less responsive. This does not happen only because blood flow is reduced, but also due to changes in vascular flexibility. When circulation is compromised, oxygen delivery, nutrient transport, and waste removal all suffer, 3 essentials for muscle performance and recovery. The outcome? Legs that feel heavy, tired, or slow to respond. Even with adequate protein intake and regular movement, poor circulation can quietly erode strength. Nitric oxide, commonly referred to as NO, is the key molecule responsible for widening blood vessels. This compound is naturally produced in the endothelial cells lining your blood vessels. It acts as a signal, instructing vessels to relax and allow greater blood flow. Beets are among the most powerful natural stimulators of nitric oxide production. Remarkably, nitric oxide synthesis is strongly influenced by diet. Beets, particularly when eaten raw or consumed as juice, provide dietary nitrates that your body converts into nitric oxide. A 2015 study published in the Journal of Applied Physiology found that older adults who drank beetroot juice experienced a significant increase in leg muscle power within hours. The improvement was especially evident in fast-twitch muscle fibers, which are essential for balance and fall prevention. These were not subtle effects. In real-world movement assessments, such as walking speed, chair stand tests, and stair climbing, the improvements were clearly measurable. Here is a simple strategy you can use about 90 minutes before physical activity. Eat 1 to 2 medium beets, or drink 250 to 300 milliliters of beetroot juice. This timing allows nitrates to convert into nitric oxide and initiate vessel dilation. Want to amplify the effect? Pair this with 20 minutes of gentle movement, such as walking, easy cycling, or dynamic stretching. Physical activity itself powerfully stimulates nitric oxide production. This becomes especially relevant when your body is already well supplied with dietary nitrates. Think of it as increasing the flow while simultaneously preparing the delivery system. Beets have a relatively low to moderate glycemic impact, and the functional performance gains far outweigh any brief rise in blood sugar when they're consumed before movement. That said, some people remain cautious about the natural sugars in beets. If that's the case, combining them with a protein source or fiber-rich greens can help moderate the response. If this insight is useful to you, consider subscribing. Our intention is not to overload you with information, but to dive deeply into evidence-based approaches like this so you're better equipped. Every video is designed to translate science into something you can apply. You can begin using this immediately and notice improvements in strength, mental focus, and physical coordination. In the next segment, we'll turn our attention to inflammation, one of the most misunderstood drivers of muscle decline, and how a single category of foods can help calm the constant low-grade process quietly eroding leg strength from the inside. Even if you don't feel it directly, it's there, like a faint but continuous background signal. This is what we mean by chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is very different from acute inflammation, which is obvious and occurs after injury. Instead, it is subtle, systemic, and gradually reduces muscle efficiency over time, particularly in the lower body. Research indicates that even modest levels of ongoing inflammation can impair the ability of muscles to repair, gain strength, and maintain coordination. A study published in the Journals of Gerontology in 2020 found that elevated inflammatory markers, specifically C-reactive protein, CRP, and interleukin-6, IL-6, were strongly linked to reduced muscle mass and strength in older adults. This association remained present even when physical activity and overall nutrition appeared sufficient. So, what is actually happening inside the body when this occurs? Inflammation interferes with mitochondrial performance, the cellular power plants responsible for muscle contraction, by disrupting muscle protein synthesis, increasing oxidative stress, and impairing mitochondrial integrity. It also reduces the nervous system's ability to efficiently recruit muscle fibers. As a result, even when muscle tissue is still present, the signal needed to activate it becomes weaker and less precise. Here's the surprising part. One of the most effective tools for calming this internal process isn't found in supplements. It's already sitting in your produce drawer. Dark leafy greens. Spinach, kale, arugula, chard, and mustard greens are prime examples. Beyond their nutritional density, these greens are especially effective at lowering inflammation. They contain concentrated amounts of polyphenols, chlorophyll, magnesium, and natural nitrates, all of which support your body's ability to regulate inflammatory signaling. In particular, the polyphenol quercetin, found in kale and mustard greens, has been shown to directly inhibit inflammatory cytokines such as IL-6 and TNF-alpha. A 2019 study published in Frontiers in Pharmacology demonstrated that regular consumption of quercetin-rich foods can reduce inflammation markers within 2 to 4 weeks, especially when paired with moderate physical activity. A simple research-supported habit is adding at least 1 cup of dark leafy greens to your first meal of the day. Why the first meal? Because it helps establish inflammatory control in alignment with your circadian rhythm, the internal clock that regulates immune and hormonal responses. To improve absorption of fat-soluble antioxidants such as vitamin K and beta-carotene, combine these greens with a healthy fat like olive oil or avocado. You may also consider adding a splash of lemon juice or apple cider vinegar to help support digestion and enhance nutrient absorption. That said, it's important to clarify that these foods do not function like pain relief medications. You may notice reduced discomfort, quicker recovery, steadier energy levels, and a renewed sense of strength in your legs over time, sometimes within 10 to 14 days. However, these benefits are not instant. This is the point where nutrition shifts from simple fuel to a biological signal that helps regulate the body. It communicates to your immune system that conditions are safe and that stress responses can be dialed down. In the next section, we'll explore something most people completely overlook: how the timing of your meals can either accelerate or delay the repair of your muscles and leg strength, especially as you age. What you eat is only one part of restoring leg strength. When you eat may be just as important, particularly later in life. It's essential to understand that every time you consume a protein-containing meal, you activate a process known as muscle protein synthesis, or MPS. This biological mechanism allows your body to repair damaged muscle fibers and create new ones. In simple terms, your body receives the message, "It's time to build." The challenge is that with aging, this signal becomes weaker due to a phenomenon called anabolic resistance, where muscles respond less effectively to dietary protein. As a result, even if your total protein intake is sufficient, your body may not fully use it for muscle repair. So, what's the answer? Research offers a clear strategy. Evenly spreading protein-rich meals across the day, starting with breakfast, can significantly support muscle maintenance and growth, especially in the legs and lower body. A 2014 study from the University of Texas found that individuals who consumed similar amounts of protein at breakfast, lunch, and dinner experienced muscle protein synthesis rates about 25% higher than those who concentrated most of their protein at dinner. Why does this happen? Because each meal acts as a separate growth signal, keeping the anabolic response active throughout the day. This effect becomes even stronger when protein is consumed within 30 to 60 minutes after light activity, such as walking, stretching, or gentle exercise, particularly in older adults. During this time, known as the anabolic window, muscle cells are especially receptive to nutrients and can quickly absorb amino acids to rebuild tissue. Here's a simple, practical approach. First, make sure your first meal of the day includes at least 30 grams of high-quality protein. This could look like a bowl of Greek yogurt with hemp seeds and berries, or 3 eggs served with sautéed spinach and lentils. Second, after any form of movement, whether a walk, flexibility work, or light resistance exercise, eat a meal or snack containing both protein and complex carbohydrates within an hour. Examples include a protein smoothie with banana or a plate of quinoa, beans, and olive oil. Carbohydrates raise insulin levels, a hormone that enhances nutrient uptake and improves the transport of amino acids into muscle cells. Third, when it comes to dinner, avoid overloading all your protein into a single meal. Research shows that your muscles can only synthesize a limited amount of protein at any given time, usually around 30 to 40 grams. Even though it may seem appealing to save your largest meal for the evening, anything beyond that limit is typically stored or burned for energy. When you optimize how your meals are timed and spaced, you are doing more than feeding your muscles. You are communicating with them. You are signaling to your body that it should remain strong, active, and resilient. That is truly the key message here. Muscle is not just about movement. It is also a metabolic organ that protects your overall vitality. We will now tie everything together, from the critical role of nitric oxide to the influence of meal timing, and give you a clear and motivating summary, along with one simple action you can take immediately to improve your leg strength, your energy, and your overall well-being. Reaching this point means you have already completed the most important step, which is learning. It is now evident that restoring leg strength, even within as little as 12 hours, is not unrealistic. From a physiological standpoint, this is real, especially when you work with your body's natural systems instead of fighting against them. Let's briefly recap the 6 science-backed principles we've covered so far. Nitric oxide is the molecule that drives circulation to your legs, helping deliver oxygen, nutrients, and fuel to the tissues that need it most. Without it, muscles become sluggish. Beetroot, especially in concentrated powder form, is one of the strongest natural stimulators of nitric oxide. It can produce real, measurable improvements in leg blood flow and performance within hours. The endothelium, which is the inner lining of your blood vessels, plays a crucial role in muscle oxygen delivery. Foods rich in nitrates, polyphenols, and antioxidants can effectively reset this system. Fast-twitch muscle fibers, especially those in the legs, are highly vulnerable to aging. However, they are also remarkably responsive to improvements in circulation, nutrition, and neural input due to the strong connection between the gut and the muscles. What you eat does more than affect digestion. It programs how your brain and muscles communicate. Beetroot's influence on gut bacteria plays a meaningful role in this process. Third, meal timing, especially when aligned with physical movement, helps prevent anabolic resistance and keeps muscle-building pathways engaged. One constant remains true: your body is built to adapt and regenerate. The challenge is giving it the right signals, at the right time, in the right amounts. Here is your next step. It is simple, clear, and highly effective. Starting tomorrow morning, begin your day with a smoothie that includes beetroot. Add a protein source such as Greek yogurt or a plant-based alternative. Shortly after drinking it, take a 15-minute walk. This primes your blood vessels, stimulates nitric oxide release, and activates muscle signaling. Then, within 30 to 60 minutes, eat a protein-rich breakfast. The science is clear. Even small actions, one nutrient, a short walk, or well-timed meals, can lead to fast, measurable improvements in how your body functions and how you feel. This is especially true for your legs, which are not only your base of movement, but also a reflection of your metabolic health and vitality. This is not just about leg strength. It is about building momentum. As you apply these strategies consistently, you will start to notice something subtle yet powerful. Your legs don't just feel stronger. You feel more capable, more energized, more stable, and more like yourself. Try this routine and observe the results. If this video helped you view your body and potential differently, please like it, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. This community exists to help you not just survive, but truly thrive, using evidence-based tools that support your mind, your body, and your life. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again.